Welcome back to the Sports Grid studio here at G2E at the Venetian Expo Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, 2024. We are sitting down with Bill Miller, the president and CEO of the American Gaming Association. How are you?
I'm great.
Great.
Day three.
Day three.
Got rolling.
You're right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's really exciting to be here.
Can you tell me, we'll just start with high level here, who you are, where you come from, and what got you started in the gaming industry?
Sure. Our office is in Washington, D.C., and the American Gaming Association was founded about 27 years ago when Washington, D.C. thought that they were going to go and tax the entire gambling industry. And so all of the operators, almost all on the Strip, said, we need to have somebody in D.C. to watch our back. And so over the last 28 years, we've had somebody here to watch our back. And I'm the third CEO since the organization started. For the most part, I worked on Capitol Hill. I advised government. I was a political guy. I worked for U.S. Chamber of Commerce and other business groups, and got here just about 6 years ago. And one of the reasons that I came here was, number one, I loved the industry. I loved coming to Las Vegas. But I also knew some of the CEOs from previous jobs. And so when there was an opening, I had a couple CEOs reach out to me and say, you know what, you might be a really good fit for this job. And so I'd always said I wanted to run an association, but I didn't want to run the Toilet Seat Manufacturers Association.
Sure.
I want to run something fun. And when this job opened up was just after the Supreme Court had ruled on PASPA. And so the states were in the process of legalizing sports betting all over the country. And so it was going to be a lot of work, but it was also going to be a lot of fun because work with leagues, work with teams, work with broadcasters, try to figure out how we get sports betting right in America. Sure. But it also gave me an opportunity to work with some of the coolest people in the world.
Right. A lot of action through that large transaction. Correct.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's incredible stuff. What is AGA's and G2E's relationship together? How do you two work together?
Great question. So the AGA, we're an advocacy organization. Our principal job is to advocate on behalf of the industry, the regulated industry here in the United States, and that means casinos, both commercial and tribal. It means all of the people around here that build all of these amazing machines and the technology. Those guys are our members. We have the online and the sports betting operators, and so we have everybody from DraftKings and FanDuel and BetMGM and all of the Fanatics. They're all members too. So it's a wide range, and so the organization principally is advance our industry, protect our industry, and defend our industry from people that don't like the industry, and make sure that we're making the right arguments around why we matter and why we're valuable and why, what value we bring to communities. And so the G2E part of it is a way for us to bring all of those entities together, whether it's the operators, people that have the casinos, and then they want to come and see what's the latest and greatest in technology, and they want to come and buy it. And so what we do with G2E, and we have this partnership with Reed Exhibition, or RX, they're a publicly traded London company. We have a 50-50 partnership with these guys, and so we work together to put on the greatest gaming show in the world.
It is fantastic, and it is massive, and I feel like this year there's a major buzz. I mean, it is packed to the brim in here.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, I don't know, we always kind of net it out at the end and find out, all right, well, what was the total number of people that showed up? The last 2 years have been really, really strong, and I think this year will be equally strong. But if you're selling machines, the thing is not how many people that come by, it's how many people that come by that have buying authority.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
And those,
there's
those
viewers
people,
and spectators, and then we need our operators.
Yeah.
Bill, can you explain to me the relationship that AGA and G2E have?
I can. And so this is the greatest gaming show that happens in the world every year. We want to create a marketplace that is absolutely must come to, must see, because we're bringing the best products and we're bringing the best buyers together in order to create a marketplace that's second to none. And so that is this show. the excitement that we've had over the last couple of days and that we will carry into the next two. But it wasn't that long ago when COVID put the show as a virtual show.
Sure.
And we didn't make any money.
Sure.
And so it is a really, really great show. Excited to be here, and we just have the best people and the best exhibitors and the best buyers in the world.
And you just touched on COVID a little bit.
Yeah.
Can we talk about maybe some challenges or obstacles that you guys in AGA have faced over the past couple of years?
Yeah. Look, I've been in this job for almost 6 years. First year was, Supreme Court allowed sports betting. So let's go figure out how we do that in all these states around the country. And how do we make it work? How do we get the leagues and the broadcasters and many who had kind of been steadfastly opposed to the legalization of sports betting to recognize that there is a ecosystem here that is a benefit to everybody, but that everybody also has a responsibility to make sure that the customers are protected, that we're doing this thing right, we're protecting the athletes, and we're making sure that the integrity of the game is sacrosanct. And so that was year one of Bill Miller as the CEO of the AGA. Year two of Bill Miller as CEO of the AGA was this little virus that started somewhere, maybe China, maybe somewhere else, but became a worldwide problem, shut down the American business community, shut down all 1,000 casinos in America, and it put a standstill on this show, and it put a standstill on the business. We were one of the first entertainment venues, though, that reopened. We opened ahead of theaters. We opened ahead of concerts. We opened ahead of many sports in general because we're such big taxpayers to all of the states in which we operate. And so casinos were among the first to operate. And so one of the things that I talk about is this industry used to be, we're blue hair industry. We're about, old ladies sitting in front of slot machines. And that the average age of people that were our core customer was about 50. After COVID, when we reopened, we actually were able to showcase the industry in a much broader way to a much younger audience. And so now the average player is 42. And that is really important because, Gen Zers, millennials, they want experiences, and what they saw was we offer amazing experiences, both in person and in the digital space. And so the challenge was also an opportunity. So all of that had to be worked out, but we got out of there, and we're now at 41 months of growth in a row. And that isn't because we're still skewing at 50 years old as a median for our customer. It's because we're continuing to bring in younger, more excited audiences, and sports has a lot to do with that.
Right, and it wasn't just that couple months or 6-12 month spike post-COVID.
Right.
There's longevity.
Yeah, no, a lot of people said, look, there's going to be a sugar high in the casino and sports betting business because there were no sports and people couldn't get out of their homes. Right. Now, we're 41 months removed from that. No one can make the argument that it was stimulus checks and being cooped up in their homes, because we have been able to show a larger, younger demographic on what our industry is all about and how fun it is. And the integration of sports to that has been integral.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for your time during this busy week. We appreciate it very much.
Awesome.
Bill Miller, the President and CEO of the American Gaming Association.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Brady Cannon here at G2E, the Global Gaming Expo 2024 at the Venetian Expo Center in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. We roll on with a decorated list of guests here on the exposition floor, and now we're lucky enough to be joined by the Chief Commercial Officer for Play and Go, Magnus Olson. Mr. Olson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we just had a conversation introducing me to your company a little bit, and in fact...
Right behind you guys.
Right here behind us. You can't miss it. A towering board there with Play and Go. You are a slots company, but what's fascinating is you guys are actually involved with creating the games, not building a hard machine like that, but it's about software, and it's all online based, and so it's artwork and creative design and software, and you guys do this over in the UK, or no, in Sweden?
In Sweden.
Sweden.
And, we have studios all over the world, but we're a Swedish company, started 20 years ago. And from the name, you cannot derive what we do, Play and Go. We build games for mobile phones. We develop mobile first, if you like. So play as you go, play when you go.
Ah, very good.
So the games, as you say, we do software. We do the online version of games. There's no hardware involved. You play it on websites, on your favorite operator. Available in the US now in 5 states, Canada, all over the world. We've been in business in Sweden for 20 years, or in Europe, and been a leading supplier of slots for most of that time. We were very early in the game. So excited about, we're like 2-3 years into being in the US now. We got the operations up and running, present in all the states, all the major operators. So yes, super excited to be here.
And you might be asking, why is Sports Grid interested in slot machines, not slot machines, but online slot games? And that's because we actually have a lot of casino content on our programming now. You'll find more and more of that coming in the near future. And I find it very interesting that you guys have kind of broken into the sports space, if you will, because a lot of these companies, like the FanDuels and the DraftKings, are moving over more into the casino space.
Yeah. Yes, they do. I think they... I'm not the one to run operator business, but I think for them to keep their customers on their sites is really important, to capture their full wallet of entertainment. So
right.
This is really about entertainment, and having their customers purchase on the entertainment from their site is super important for them. So they need to be really good at sports betting, of course, but they need to complement that with high quality online slots, and that's what we do.
Ideally, you want to pick up your phone. I don't have my phone in front of me. That's a rare occasion, but ideally you want to pick up your phone, place a sports bet, and then shift over and start playing a slot game.
And that's what you do, and that's what's happening. And there can be intermissions, that you're waiting for a game, you play a couple of rounds of slots, and then you go back, watch the game, or bet on the game, or whatever you do. So there is a lot of cross-selling going on, and a lot of cross-interaction between sports betting and online iGaming.
Absolutely. I'm in the golf business here in Las Vegas, and a lot of golfers are gamblers.
Yeah.
Just like sports bettors like to play slots and what have you. Now, you mentioned that your company was founded in the neighborhood of 20 years ago, and you told me that in that first year you maybe made 5 or 10 games. Here in 2024, you're expected to release 56 games,
Correct.
And you expect to double that in 2025.
Yeah, we think double it or close to double it. 90 to 100, maybe more. That's what it looks like right now. We're very, we're very keen on keeping the quality. So even if we have the games, we might, we need to ensure that the quality is there before we release them. So that's a very, very stringent process for us.
And I think I should also mention, you told me earlier, Magnus, that you have an extremely high success rate with all these operators that you are providing the games for. Has anybody ever said, no, we don't want that game? You're able to kind of sell these folks on just about every game you're designing.
Yes, the bulk of them. I think some games are super niched for a demography or a market. But most games are for the full network, general availability. And we see with 50 games or 56 games in 2024, most of those games are on most operator sites in really, really good positions.
Yeah, you said your product is one of the top in Europe as far as popularity across a number of these gaming sites online.
We have, in our portfolio, we have blockbusters. We have games that you probably need to run a successful online casino because they are very
popular games, right?
They are some of the most played games in the universe. We also have the release cadence. Every Thursday there's a new game. They rely on that. They know it, and they can act on it. They can include it in promotions and in campaigns and in activities that they do with their customers.
So here at G2E, what is your goal? To try and find new clients to buy your products?
Both that and getting our content into new jurisdictions. But I would say that we are present in most jurisdictions in the world on many or most of the active operators there. I think our mission is really to show the world and show everybody here at G2E the high entertainment value of our slots.
Right.
I think if it was one mission we have, it would be push and make people understand how entertaining it can be and how the quality and the thought process behind making our games, how that really adds value to the experience of playing slots.
Very good. I see a possible meeting in the near future here with some Sports Grid executives and Mr. Olson. Our content that's being played on our shows and everything, maybe you've got a play and go game right there front and center. Thank you so much for stopping by, and enjoy the rest of your week.
You too. Thanks a lot.
That's Magnus Olson, the Chief Commercial Officer of the slot-based company in Sweden, Play and Go.
We are on the exhibit floor at the Sports Grid studio at G2E 2024, and I'm sitting down with Matt Fowler of the IBIA. Tell us a little bit about you. How did you get into gaming? Where are you from? And how did you end in the position that you are now?
So, you can probably tell by my accent, I'm from the UK actually. I've been in the industry up to 20 years now. Prior to joining IBIA, I was integrity manager at Betfair, so the parent company of FanDuel, Flutter. I joined IBIA in 2017, so 7 years back.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
And what drew you to sports betting or the gaming industry?
Huge sports fan, first of all. Massive sports fan. I previously worked on course taking bets at horse racing tracks in the UK, so I had that interest. Was looking for a career that kind of married my interests. And yeah, here we are in sports betting 20 years later.
I love it. Nice to hear it. Let us know, what is IBIA? What do you guys do? What value do you provide? And how do you do it?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So IBIA is a not-for-profit integrity monitor. We were created by the regulated sector to combat the threat of match fixing. So originally began all the way back in 2005, so approaching 20 years back. Began with 4 small sports books in Europe at that point. We've now grown, we represent 60 books all over the world. Here in the US, that would be FanDuel and DraftKings, notably. And collectively, those operators account for about $300 billion in global handle every year. Now, the reason we were created was to allow them to come together and share information on unusual and suspicious wagering patterns. The way we do that, we have an alert system we've built and developed over a number of years. And ultimately the question we're always asking when we receive a report is this activity that we can explain? If we can't, if we feel that something untoward may have taken place, then we'll prepare a report on a non-commercial basis, so absolutely free of charge to sports, leagues, regulators and law enforcement all over the world. And that then begins a much wider process of investigation, and we will assist the investigating authorities along with our operators as well. The sportsbooks play a really key role in this ecosystem as well.
Okay, thank you. What initiatives does IBIA have in the next 1 to 3 years, or what have you really been focusing on?
Absolutely. So I think our core work is our alert system, and that's the reason we invested a significant amount in upgrading our technology. So we'll be rolling out a new platform to our sportsbooks later this year. A large part of that will also be an external facing dashboard, particularly for regulators here in the US. They'll get access to a bespoke dashboard where we report to them, provide trends and analysis on match fixing and the wider industry. And also education's a real key pillar for us. Obviously it goes without saying really, but prevention's always better than cure. So we already co-sponsor an education, athlete education project in Canada. We're looking to roll it out potentially in the US. We're also looking at LATAM. Brazil's a key market for our operators and our association as well. So they'll be the two things we'll be focusing on in the next 1 to 3 years.
Very nice. And what does integrity have to do with the growth of the sports betting industry in the United States?
I think they go hand in hand, really. I think what we all want to see is a vibrant, growing, regulated market, because that's one of the best ways to counter the threat of the black market. There's been a lot of conversations this week about illegal offshore wagering. I think the more we can do to bring as much activity into the regulated sector, the better. One of the ways you can do that is by having a really attractive market where consumers want to bet with the protections they get in the regulated sector. And I think integrity goes hand in hand with that, really. And a key part of that is the regulation. The regulatory frameworks, particularly the ones you have here in the US, are best in class, really. So I think that's something we'd look to replicate elsewhere as well.
Sure. And do you think the general consumer does want that guarantee of integrity and knowing that what you're betting on is...
I think so. I think this is one of the few issues in our industry where everyone's aligned. The operators want clean sport, the leagues certainly do, the consumers do, because that underpins that underlying confidence across the whole market as well. So I think it is an area where literally everybody's aligned on that as well.
Sure. And what is IBIA's and your involvement in G2E? Why do you come to G2E and what do you expect out of it?
It's funny. It seems to get bigger every year.
Yeah.
We're always here. It's a chance to meet our key stakeholders, so particularly the regulators, the operators. Everybody's in town for the same reason. So I'm sure it's the same for most of your viewers and interviewers. It is just one meeting after another. It's a chance to get out there, put faces to names. We're a global operation, but everybody is here in the US for G2E, so we're happy to be here as well.
The city of Las Vegas does become flooded with all gaming people. Yeah, it's great to see. Well, while I have you, is there anything else you'd like to add or share with our audience?
No, just happy to be here, really. Please do look at our website, IBIA.bet. As I say, we are a global organisation, increasingly active across the US. We're in 30 plus states now as well. So yeah, if anybody's interested in the work we're undertaking, I'd encourage you to look at our website, and we're happy to have those conversations as well.
Awesome, thank you. And this is Matt Fowler with IBIA.